next week, we'll all be in bed recovering from the exclusive wrap party. Well, all of us except for Jamie, because he's not invited.
You know what is going on? Fuck you
ain't
all.
coming east. Speaking of exclusives, here's another one.
Like, she can't believe that she's been nominated. Like, she's above everybody.
She was angry.
Everyone in this house, except for you two, have been blue.
Yeah.
But she feels she's special and should never be.
Yeah.
Really? Then don't talk crap about everybody.
She said today that she's just, all she wants is to get to the final. I just want to get to the final.
Yeah, she said, I just want to get to the final. She goes, I'm a 70-year-old woman, which said I deserve respect, like all this stuff.
Yeah.
Just like...
Oh, no!
Look, let's just be really nice and smoke her fags.
No, that's fine.
But even with a microphone on her, she's attacking us in front of us, thinking that we're not going to find out.
God.
Now, I tell you, when I've seen it, when she's been kissing and hugging someone like whoever, you know, oh, I love you, and you do make me laugh, and then that person's walked away and she said a really barbed, nasty comment, and I've thought, she hasn't known that I've seen it or heard it, and every time I've thought,
that's deep, man. That's
horrible.
Ooh, Lorenzo's speaking up now, isn't he? Yes. Panto. Now, we all love a boy band. I love them so much. I even married a member of one. And this year's Big Brother has brought us the newest act to hit the public. Yes, the creation of Ham, also known as Harvey, Ashley and Mike. Here to talk us through this band of brothers is the very lovely Dr. Pam Spur. Before we go on with this little chat, can we talk about Pam's top this evening? Does she not look sexy as hell?
Like, I call it the hooker look.
OK. So, Dr. Pam, tell us about Ham. I like that.
Ham, I'll tell you.
Was this the group that you expected?
Yes, because when you look at group dynamics, people are drawn together with the same social values, or they look for someone with maybe a slightly higher social value. So all three of them have street cred, they have youth with them, and they have alpha male characteristics. They also all have a key factor called being integrators. So they like to be bonded with other people. It's
so they're
unusual.
Not lone rangers. They're not going to go out there on their own.
They're integrators. Now, you take the one person who tried to dominate them, Julie. She's a classic dominator. She wanted to get in there, and she made a big mistake. She was going through what I call the Emperor's New Clothes syndrome, except, of course, she's the Empress. Okay. And that's where someone's put on a pedestal, as she was when she first came in, because she's a legend. And yet, if you fall victim to this syndrome, you buy into your own hype. And that means you start believing you can get away with anything, and the fall is very hard. So what happened, she didn't realize, is people start to see through her. So the Emperor's New Clothes are, of course, as we know, actually someone going without clothes. When they saw through that, she didn't realize it. She thought she was infallible. So Harvey was already removing himself from her when she dragged him.
He became suspicious, didn't he?
Exactly, and she didn't see it. And she dragged him in Friday night to talk about, let's nominate Prince. Big fall after that. When you fall to that syndrome, you have a big fall from that pedestal.
OK, this little group they've formed, in doing that, are they isolating themselves from the rest of the house?
Well, that's only started recently because they have been, you know, happy to listen to Julie. They've been happy to take Martin's guidance, and they've been happy even to take Colleen's guidance. You've got to remember that Ashley turned to Colleen after Rhian was evicted last Wednesday. But now that there's such a solid core, you know, they're so integrated that now they are sort of starting to isolate themselves. They're becoming very loud about the fact that they are sort of brothers in arms.
Why haven't they included the other housemates? Is it a generational thing?
Well,
as far as the male housemates go.
Good question, but when you look at group dynamics, you also get, besides integrators and dominators, you also get the observers. Martin's a classic observer. He's kind of watched them form. An observer often has one foot in a group, and he does that. So he's been kind of their backbone, giving advice. Then you get the outsiders, who are usually not a threat to a core group. So, like the moth. You get Prince Lorenzo, he's an outsider. You get Julian, he's an outsider. Prince only became a threat to the group when the love triangle developed, and that's when they started to see him as kind of a threat to their guy, the situation.
OK, well, talking of the love triangle, Danica said that she felt ganged up on by the boys and that she'd seen a slightly darker side of them during the Gods and Mortals tasks. Let's just have a quick look at that.
How would you react if your boyfriend was in Big Brother and slept next to a girl?
I don't wish to discuss that with you. It's a bit of a boring subject now.
So your boyfriend, he trusts you to hug other men?
I'm allowed to hug other men, yeah. It's not like I'm having a grope, is it?
Rian,
Yes.
stay in the diary room until further notice.
What do you make of that? Harvey being pretty...
Well,
it's quite frightening.
You look at social psychology experiments, and when you look at power in a group, it's intensified when a group is selected. So the gods were a subgroup. They were selected as special sort of beings for that task. What happens with power, and they're given that power to actually tell the housemates what to do, is they kind of end up egging each other on. So they see one of the gods do one thing, the next one has to kind of act on that and make it even bigger. So they weren't realizing that
So is it like one-upmanship?
It is, and it kind of sort of spins out of control. They saw it as a joke, not realizing it was getting quite near the mark for someone like Rian being sort of subjected to that.
Yeah.
But that's only a temporary sort of induced megalomania. You know, they're not complete megalomaniacs, and they won't stay like that permanently.
Is there a standout leader out of the three?
No, the thing is, Harvey and Mike are very much equals. They're very much co-alphas, but they have a different way of showing their sort of, you know, their power. So with Harvey, you get sort of avert sort of territorial sort of behavior. He's quite extrovert. He's quite loud amongst the three of them. Mike is much more subtle. When he stakes his claim, it tends to be more subtle, except when he's telling everybody that he's been Googled like the 5th most Googled person in the world. That's not subtle.
I think you'll find it was 4th, actually.
Oh, was it 4th?
Yeah,
oh, my gosh, I downgraded him.
Justin Bieber was 5th.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I think, was that right? Yeah.
So, yeah, so although, you know, Mike will say things like that, which seem over the top, otherwise he's quite subtle within the three of them, but he still has power because he's got that social value that both Ashley and Harvey look up to.
Yeah, Ashley, I think, looks up to Harvey a lot, doesn't he?
Oh, he does. He is that junior alpha, and within the group, he's got his role where he's sort of. It's not like he feeds their egos, but he kind of gives them more power by the sense that they think he's cool. He's got that social value. So both Mike and Harvey really appreciate his social value, but he also kind of lifts their social value. He's kind of the underling. So yeah, I mean, he's well regarded within the group. He's got an important role like that.
This evening, we've seen them talking and getting quite excited about making it to the final. Let's have another look at it.
All I wanted was just to get to the finals, me, you, and Hall. That's it. And then we could sit back and...
Whatever happens, happens, bro.
Yeah,
we don't care about... As long as one of each other wins.
No, it's the finals. That's what it is at the end of the day.
It'd be nice for one of us to win, bro.
Congrats, 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 congrats.
So, Pam, what are you seeing there that we may not be?
Well, what you're seeing, of course, is you see the behavioural signs that they have completely bonded. They're absolutely solid, and they almost genuinely don't care who wins. Of course, underneath, they want to be top dog.
Yeah.
But really, they're so happy, and they're now such a solid group. I really think outside of the house, they will continue to be absolutely solid together. They've formed a real bond, though.
Are they untouchable by the rest of the house?
Well, they're not untouchable. I think the problem is with all their kind of band of brothers chat. It reminds me of like Dina talking about soldiers.
Yeah.
I think, you know, some of the younger viewers, their younger fans will appreciate that. It's very kind of strong imagery. But I think other viewers might think it's a bit arrogant, and maybe if they showed a bit more humility, then they would be untouchable.
So it could put some people off voting for them?
It could, certainly.
So have to be careful.
Yeah, and certainly housemates like Julian and Martin stand a good chance because Julian has that razor-sharp wit.
Yeah.
But unlike Julie, he has set his boundaries, so he hasn't crossed certain boundaries. So I think he's remained incredibly popular. Martin, of course, the way he's kind of advised the group, kept the backbone of the structure there. I think, again, he's, you know, a threat to them, too.
OK. Pam, thank you so much. Dr. Pam Fair, everyone. Coming up, you guys get to talk to Jamie. I'm not sure why you'd want to do that, but, you know, each to their own. Plus, we'll be chatting about the approaching final. Very exciting. We'll see you in a bit.